Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, then make predictions for next week's top 5. I can't go over my predictions from last week, however, because I did not make any, because I figured since there really isn't a new wide release coming out, just the same old movies, and Disaster Artist and Shape of Water in limited release, nothing's probably going to change, and that is accurate. Nothing changed in the top 5 at all. If you still got all 5 right, then I guess you can get a shout out. I mean, it's not really like it's much of an achievement though, because it's exactly the same as last time. So let's just go over it really quickly. It'll be pretty fast this episode, I think, because I've already kind of covered a lot of it and nothing much has really changed. So let's just go through it. Number 1 was Coco, once again making $26 million, adding to a domestic total of $108 million. And on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $279 million. Now the budget sitting at $175, maybe around $225. So far worldwide, it is doing pretty good. I wish that it was doing a little bit better, but I think in more time, the movie will make a little bit more money, especially because Star Wars isn't until December 15th, and that's when a lot of movies are going to get buried by that time. Also, they announced that December 8th, they will be officially removing the Olaf Frozen Holiday Special, so maybe that'll get more people into the seats knowing that that short is gone and they don't have to sit through 20 minutes of it. So maybe that'll increase its revenue eventually, but I'm still pretty happy with how it's doing right now because it is a fantastic movie. Number 2 is the Justice League, getting a little better each week now. It made $16 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $197 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $567. So it's $33 million away from doubling its $300 million budget, but if you were to ask me, I'm thinking that there's maybe a little bit more money that they have to make. So I'm thinking they need a little bit more than just $600 million. But if we're going by the doubling of the budget, then it's almost a success, I guess. Number 3 is Wonder, making $12 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $88 million, already at almost $100 million, just needs $12 million more. That's already amazing, but on the worldwide chart, it is already at $100 million, which is pretty good for this movie that I've heard pretty good things about. You know, I haven't read the book. My sister did not recommend it, so maybe other people will recommend the book. The movie I thought kind of looked generic at first, but from what I've been hearing, it's actually pretty good, so I'm actually kind of considering checking it out at this point, so that's pretty cool. Number 4 is Thor Ragnarok, making $9 million, adding to a domestic total of $291 million. It only needs $9 million more to get to $300 million domestically, but on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $816 million, and I'm thinking it's not going to get to $1 billion before it leaves the top 10. It might get a little close to $900 million, maybe between that and $850 million, but I don't think it'll get to $1 billion. Not that this movie really needed to, because it's already a pretty good success story on its own, especially when you compare it to Justice League. Number 5 is Daddy's Home 2, making $7 million, adding to a domestic total of $82 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $116 million. A little bit better as the weeks go by. It needs to get to about $138 million to double its budget. It's getting a little closer to that now that we have more worldwide numbers coming in for this movie, so maybe this movie won't be a flop like I was saying a few weeks ago. It just needed a couple more weeks to kind of marinate in the top 10, I guess. Number 6 is Murder on the Orient Express, making $6 million, adding to a domestic total of $84 million, but on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $210 million. That's very good that I was able to get past $200 million worldwide. I'm very happy because I actually had a pleasant time with this movie, and I'm glad more people were having a good time with it. It needs $16 million more domestically to get to $100 million, but seeing the worldwide numbers and seeing that the budget, it's already been doubled, I don't think they really need that $100 million domestically. It would look better on a Box Office Mojo website, but when you look at the worldwide numbers, it's already doing pretty well. Now, number 7 is Lady Bird, making $4.5 $4 million, adding to a domestic total of $17 million. It's $3 million away from doubling its $10 million budget, which is pretty good. I think that Oscar buzz is really starting to catch up to this movie now. But it was, I have a story to tell. It was either I was able to see this movie or the number 8 spot on here, and we eventually went with the number 8 film, which was Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which made $4.53 million this weekend. Now, these two, Lady Bird and Three Billboards, might switch because they are pretty close together. But so far, that adds to a domestic total of $13 million. It needs to get to about $30 million to double its $15 million budget. But considering the praise it's been getting, it might be able to pull a Lady Bird and actually start to add up a lot of its money. And that would be for a very good reason, because I just saw the movie and I still need to do a review. I will be doing that. But this film really does deserve a lot of people's attention. It is fantastic. Number 9 is The Star, making only $4 million, adding to a domestic total of $27 million. So it has surpassed its production budget of $20 million, but it still needs to get to about $40 million to be considered a success. It needs $13 million more. I don't think it'll be able to get there. I think it's about to leave the top 10, honestly. It's been sitting out of the top 5 for a while, but I think eventually, like maybe maybe next week, actually, it might be able to get pushed out, or maybe it'll cling on for one more week. I don't know, but what I do know is that number 10, A Bad Mom's Christmas, that movie is officially out of here, making only $3 million, adding to a domestic total of $64 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is at $97 million. It wasn't able to get to $100 million worldwide, wasn't able to even get to $100 million domestically. It got its budget back for sure, though, so we might get a Bad Moms 3 if they really wanted to, but compared to the first movie's success, this movie did not do as well, which I am happy with. But now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5, and I do have a prediction. It's a little small, but, you know, when you consider the fact that The Shape of Water doesn't get released everywhere until December 22nd, that kind of messed up my predictions a bit. So I'm going to predict that number 1 will be The Disaster Artist, number 2 I think will be Coco, number 3 Justice League, number 4 Wonder, and number 5 Thor Ragnarok. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave it in the comments below, and thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.